What happens when a woman hits 40, still single, and society refuses to forgive her for it? Would men finally treat her with respect, or would they destroy her dignity, one test at a time? This is the story of Claire, a woman who thought she was strong enough to stand alone until men showed her just how cruel the world could be. Claire Johnson was 40 years old, living in the busy city of Lagos, Nigeria. She was everything society would call successful. She worked as a senior banker in one of the biggest banks. She was always well dressed, her hair neatly styled, her makeup subtle but classy. She was smart, she was confident, and she was beautiful in her own way. But in the eyes of society, Claire had one big problem. She was not married. Every family gathering turned into a reminder. Her aunties would look at her with pity, then whisper loudly enough for her to hear. Ah, Claire, your younger sister already has 3 children. What are you still waiting for? Her mother would call her at random times just to say, Claire, are you waiting for the perfect man? At your age, men don't want women like you again. It didn't matter that Claire had built her own house in Lekki, a beautiful complex with marble floors and a balcony where she could see the sunset every evening. It didn't matter that she drove a brand new Toyota, one she had bought with her own hard-earned money. It didn't even matter that her colleagues at work respected her and younger staff looked up to her as a role model. To her family and to society, all of that meant nothing because without a husband, they believed she was incomplete. But Claire didn't care, or at least she tried not to care. She told herself, marriage is not the ultimate prize. Happiness is. Yet deep down, she also knew one thing. Men saw her differently. To them, she wasn't Claire the banker or Claire the homeowner. She was simply a woman who had crossed 40 without a ring on her finger. And that was all they chose to see. One Sunday after church, Claire met a man named Daniel. He was tall, handsome, about 45 years old, and a divorcee. He wore a clean white shirt that made him look even sharper. His smile was warm, and when he spoke, his voice was calm and steady. Unlike many men she had met, Daniel didn't rush into silly talks. He asked her about her work, her job, her hobbies, and even her dreams. For the first time in a long while, Claire felt like maybe, just maybe, God had finally sent someone her way. Daniel seemed kind. He seemed mature. He seemed honest. They began to see each other more often. Coffee dates turned into dinners. Phone calls turned into late night conversations. And slowly, Claire began to let her guard down. But then, things started to change. Daniel began to drop small comments. Comments that at first sounded like jokes, but later started to sting. One evening, while they were out eating, he leaned back and said with a smirk, you know, Claire, you are lucky I'm even dating you. At your age, most men wouldn't bother. Claire froze for a moment, trying to laugh it off, but inside, her chest grew heavy. Another time, while they were talking about the future, Daniel frowned and said, if you want me to marry you, you need to be more humble. You act too independent. Men don't like women who think they are the boss. Claire's eyes widened. She had worked all her life to build herself, and now this man was telling her that her success was a problem. Then came the third blow. During a simple conversation, Daniel looked her straight in the eyes and said, stop acting like a boss. Men don't like proud women. That was the moment Claire's eyes opened. Daniel was not in love with her. He didn't see her as a woman worthy of love and respect. He thought he was doing her a favor by being with her. Her heart sank, but she was not a woman who begged for crumbs. She ended things quickly before the relationship could go any further. But of course, society had something to say. Her family whispered, "You see, she's too proud. That's why no man will stay with her." Her friends muttered behind her back, "Claire is too difficult. She will end up alone." And once again, Claire was left not only to heal from the heartbreak, but also to carry the shame that society placed on her shoulders. At a friend's birthday party, the music was loud. People were dancing and laughter filled the air. That was where Claire met Michael. He was younger, only 33, but he carried himself with confidence. He had this white smile that could melt stress away, and he always had a joke ready. From the moment they started talking, he made Claire laugh until her cheeks hurt. Unlike Daniel, Michael didn't talk down to Claire. He opened doors for her, pulled out chairs for her, and even said things like, "You are so beautiful, Claire. I don't care what anyone says. You deserve the whole world." For the first time in years, Claire felt truly loved and wanted. With Michael, she didn't feel like a burden or too old. She felt like a woman again. But of course, society had its eyes on her. Her friends began to gossip in hushed voices. "Michael is just using her for money. At your age, dating a younger man. Shame on you. You only want her connections at the bank." Claire heard the gossips, but she ignored them. After all, Michael's actions spoke louder than their words. He was attentive, affectionate, and always made her feel like the most important person in the room. Until one night, Michael had fallen asleep with his phone on the couch. Claire wasn't the kind of woman to snoop around, but when his phone buzzed repeatedly, curiosity got the better part of her. She picked it up, and what she saw made her knees weak. In a group chat with his friends, Michael had typed, "Dating her is like hitting a jackpot. She pays for everything. All I need to do is pretend I'm serious until I cash out." Her hands trembled. She scrolled further and saw more messages. "Don't worry, guys. She's hooked already. Imagine a whole banker taking care of me. Easy money." Claire's heart sank into her stomach. The man she thought loved her had been playing her all along. She dropped the phone slowly, staring at Michael as he slept peacefully, completely unaware that his mask had finally fallen. This time, Claire didn't cry. She didn't shout. She simply stood there, broken but silent, realizing the truth. She was never truly loved. The next morning, without drama, she ended it. But once again, the gossip mill went wild. "She's a sugar mommy now. Look at her, sponsoring young men." Poor Claire, her desperation is showing. Her heart carried yet another scar. By now, Claire had stopped believing in love. Her heart was tired of disappointment. But then again, she met Richard. Richard was different, a widower, soft-spoken, 50 years old, with two teenage kids. He wasn't flashy or arrogant. He listened when she spoke. He respected her opinions. He never for once mocked her age. For the first time in a long time, Claire felt safe with Richard. There were no games, no manipulation, just peace. They dated for a year, and Richard eventually proposed. Claire cried that night, not from sadness, but from relief. Finally, after years of heartbreak, she thought she had found her happy ending. The introduction day came. Claire wore a very beautiful lace outfit. Her family sang and danced. Richard's relative filled the compound, smiling, laughing, preparing to officially welcome her. Then the unthinkable happened. As the ceremony began, Richard's first son, who is only 22 years old, suddenly stood up. His voice shook the entire room. "Daddy, you cannot marry her." Everyone froze. Richard frowned. "What are you saying, David? Sit down." But the boy shook his head, his face pale. His next words dropped like a bomb. "She was my sugar mommy 2 years ago. I know her very, very well." The entire room gasped. Claire's leg went numb. The music stopped. The drummers lowered their sticks. Silence fell, heavy and suffocating. Richard turned slowly to Claire, his eyes wide, searching for answers. Claire, what is he talking about? Claire's mouth opened, but no words came out. Her lips trembled, her hands shook. Answer me! Richard's voice thundered. Tears welled up in Claire's eyes. Richard, I don't even know what he's saying. I don't. I haven't seen your son before. But Richard's relative began to murmur. So it's true. A whole widow's fiancé playing with boys. Disgrace. David, Richard's son, continued talking. She bought me gifts. She gave me money. We were together. She's here. You can ask her yourself. Claire felt like the ground should open and swallow her. She wanted to scream that it was a lie. She wanted to defend herself, but the weight of suspicion crushed her. Richard's face hardened. His hand shook as he pulled off the engagement ring and said, It is over. I don't want to ever see your face again. The whole room was in chaos. Claire's family tried to protest. Her mother wept. Her father shouted. But nothing could change Richard's decision. And just like that, Claire's dream of peace was shattered in the most humiliating way. Humiliated and broken, Claire disappeared. She locked herself inside her Lekki home for weeks. Curtains drawn, phone switched off, heart shattered. The gossips outside never stopped. Neighbors mocked her whenever she stepped out for groceries. Women at the salon giggled behind her back. And then came the worst blow, social media. Blogs carried the headline, 40-year-old woman disgraced at marriage introduction, exposed by fiancé's son. Comments poured in. Now wow, see her age. She should be ashamed. She thought she could escape karma. Women like her don't deserve respect. Claire cried until her tears dried up. But in the middle of her pain, a voice whispered, You can either die with this shame or rise and write your own story. So she chose to rise. She left Lagos quietly and moved to Abuja. No noise, no explanation. She needed a fresh start. There, she poured her pain into purpose. Claire started a foundation for single women, a safe space where they could share their struggles without judgment. She organized small meetings in community halls, then bigger conferences. She told her story on stages, her voice steady, her words raw and powerful. Yes, I was humiliated. Yes, I was mocked. But my worth is not tied to marriage. Your worth is not tied to marriage. We are more than rings. We are more than titles. Slowly, something amazing happened. People began to listen. Women started to thank her for giving them courage. Even men respected her boldness. The same society that once called her a failure now began to call her an inspiration. Newspapers changed the headline from shame to strength, the woman who refused to be broken. Claire was no longer the woman who failed at marriage. She had now become the woman who stood strong when men tried to destroy her. And so, Claire's story teaches us something powerful. Being single at 40 is not a curse. The real curse is a society that measures a woman's value only by her marital status. Men may try to mock you, use you, or even break you, but at the end of the day, the only person who decides your worth is you. So let me ask you, should Claire have kept fighting for marriage at all costs, or was she right to walk away and create her own path? Do you believe that being single at 40 is a failure, or is it freedom? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more powerful African stories. Bye, and see you in the next one.